you know, being a great tour guide and stuff, I just whipped open a panel over there, and then it dawned on me that the 440 cycles running in that van, that's that hub here. So, how many of you know electronics, computers? How many of you ever seen a flip-flop multi-vibrator in the reel to touch it? Okay, well, the rest of you are going to see one today. It may not mean anything to you, but it is the basis of computer technology. But to give you an idea of what you're looking at, these are the radar control vans that would have been up on top of that hill, and that green box with no roof on it, that's where the IPAR, the acquisition radar, would have been. This radar follows the missile from the time it takes off. It has to track, and that is the fail-safe. The radar has to track the missile down until it explodes, then it can slew back and pick up the warhead on another missile. And it does lock on to the guidance section, the warhead mechanism, the arming mechanism. So that's the primary fail-safe. If you shut the radar off, the missile self-destructs. It does not go nuclear, it just goes back. So that's the primary fail-safe, other than the 19-year-old that's in the pit on this thing. And you guys are going to be here long enough to go run a drill. All right. You're ready. You're thinking about it, right? So 4K is the computing capacity of one of these vans. 4K. That is enough to do all you need to do to knock airplanes out of the sky. Okay? 4K. Your Apple computer has 32 gigs. So you need 17,000 of those vans to give you the same computing capacity as this, actually. As that. Yep. This way.
Wow.
That's like that.
Says he's going to show us one foot flight.
Oh, yeah. So this is a target tracking van. This is where you'll see the pins on the walls and the circular graph, and that charts the direction of the target and the direction of the missile and their speed, and then computes the intercept point and sends the command to the missile to blow up. Basically, all we want the missile to do is go high up in the air, real fast out towards the target, drop down on the target, and explode in front of it and above it. We let the blast area take care of all the rest of the problem. Depending on how big a warhead you use, depends on how big a bang area you cover. So if you send up like a 2 kiloton warhead, you'd get everything within like 3 miles. If it's bigger than that, 30 or 40 miles. And since we're only going to be out there about 80 miles, pretty severe weapon system. And again, it's not nearly the blast, it's not the nuclear explosion, it's the pressure wave and the electromagnetic pulse that's moving through the atmosphere that's going to do all of that. So go ahead and take a look in here. This shows where the launch buttons are, the tracking panels, all that stuff.
We walk in there?
Yeah, go ahead in.
You spent 43 hours on one of these things.
No, I spent 43 hours in them, up there.
Okay.
The guys who were assigned to this spent that same amount of time in this, yes, with the doors locked. Wow. That's the varnish they tried to use. I've burned a lot of circuit boards in my time. It's the varnish, but in general, it's just age. And Army stuff is always out in the open, so it collects a lot of dirt and dust. So that's why it always smells the same. Vietnam, I mean, in Asia, it always had this rotten egg smell to it because the mold bacteria would grow really fast in these air-conditioned vans over there. So all these things had to be air-conditioned. Missile duty in Southeast Asia. The deal you can get your van in, it's out, like the mold and stuff like that. And you have it, but you still smell the
smell, yeah. I always wanted some interior lights here.
And 1968 with me, and the MPs were separate. The MPs and the dog handlers, we did have security dogs out here. If you look over this hill, you'll see a bag over what was the dog kennels and then the enclosure area where they would train the military dogs to be guard dogs out here. And these were not friendly dogs.
Were they German Shepherds or what were they?
And Malinois and German Shepherds. I had poked one once with a pool cue from the ready room up there, and he bit the back end of it in half, and they took the pool cue out of my pay. So, but yeah, they could only let one dog go in here And they let him go every night. The dog patrolled in here and the handler stayed in this shack. Two of them, always still a two-man rule. The dog would be in here. Now during an alert, you guys know about rocket blast and stuff, all right? So 170,000 pounds of thrust is what developed at the tail end of the Nike Hercules. So there were no personnel above ground during an alert, just that nasty old dog. And he had the run of this place and we stayed in there. And I can guarantee you that when I was here and that dog was out, there were no gaps in the fence like that. I've been paranoid of dogs ever since the Army. You go on alerts. I went on alert and we were with the guys. The dog handlers were not familiar to us. We were a new crew on the site. We came there in a hole, all trained and everything, and sent there. And the battery went hot, and this guy, dog handler, let his dog go, and he took off. And the dogs will only obey the commands of the guy who trained them, and in German, which left me way out. Now I had these guys, we were inside an exclusion area, and we needed to get out of there. The drill was over, the thing was done, and that sucker didn't come back. He started his leave or something like that. So I thought, well, if we collar the dog and just restrain the dog, right? Yeah, so 9 stitches later, we finally got control of this dog. So ever since then, there is no such thing as, oh, he's a friendly dog, he never bites anything. So in here, all these things are just like when Ron Paul Shar, he had a picture of himself in the guard shack. And so we did it up, the names on the uniforms are correct, the patches and stuff are correct. All the books and everything, the Pepsi bottles, the typewriter, the telephone, all of these things are 1968, just the way it would have been had he walked out of here, just like they have on display up at California. You know, it's just like it was. You'll see our cell phone there. There's a U.S. military cell phone there between the helmet and the radio. You'll notice it's a little bigger than the cell phone you currently have. What do you think? Is it bigger?
Yeah.
Looks a little bigger. It doesn't have a phone book in it. It doesn't take any pictures. But the battery doesn't go dead.
Can't play music.
The battery doesn't go dead. You can turn a crank on the side of it and it'll call whoever's at the end of the wire, because it only calls one other phone. And it does have one thing that'll do that your Apple phone won't do. If you hit somebody with that phone, you're going to know it.
That wasn't quite a correct.
Gotta get all the presidents.
Yeah, that's salts. And the metal tray and stuff. Pop top. Came with a pop top.
I had the idea. You know, you step on them on the beach and
The guys used to make head braces out of the exclusion pop top. When I would come, I would check my sidearm at the guard shack if we were a hot battery or something like that. Very seldom did I ever carry a sidearm. I don't like guns. So I would leave it down in the office there. When we take a warhead out of a missile, then one of the officers in the warhead team had to carry a sidearm. So that's the only time I carried my 1911. Which way to go with me then, so. Yeah. Good. Yeah, you get the sound scares you. You can't hit anything with it.
You throw the gun at something.
Fortunately, the bullet leaves the barrel before the thing jerks back in the air, but just...
If by chance you do hit something, though.
Yeah. So they didn't have any of these safety rails and stuff around. This is our exhibit of never restore anything at the beach. These rails are about 8 years old. They were brand new 8 years ago, repainted and installed. They have epoxy paint on them. They were supposed to last forever, but they didn't.
Forever's coming a little faster than you
And
thought.
you'll see we have a new set down here that just came up from Pueblo, Colorado.
They're perfect, yeah.
And they're, you know, if you want to store stuff, you store it at Pueblo, Colorado. If you go looking for the Ark of the Covenant, it's in Pueblo, Colorado. They have amazing things down there. If you ever see where you're supposed to write for out-of-date stuff from the government that they've printed, you write a letter to Pueblo, Colorado. They have 1,700 military warehouses. Those are like a block long and 3 stories tall. Great big wooden structures. Endless stuff in them, not including the stuff that's outside. When I was there, the guy took us for a big treat. They had 3 guards at the time. Took us for a treat. We went into one of these big warehouses, and they had row upon row of oil paintings in wooden frames, confiscated from troops coming back from the Spanish-American War until the current Korean War. all this material that had been confiscated, trying to be smuggled back into the United States. Ownership unknown, right? Yeah. So they had just rows and rows of this stuff in there, feeding the mice with it. But then we came across the treasure trove, an entire warehouse in burlap bags sealed in beeswax. Springfield rifles, surplus from the Civil War. Breech loaders, brand new. And we worry about our national debt. And they will not sell them. We went to the Historical Society, told them about them. They said, oh yeah, we know about them. They're not leaving there. No, there's no one around that can sign for this stuff. Now, here's the glitch. We get all this stuff because there's still 3 of it, Ron Parshall, myself, and Al Kellogg. We still have our Q clearances from the Nike system, and they are overjoyed to sign this stuff out to us because then they're not responsible anymore, and we are the responsible party. Because we still have a Nike clearance and a Q clearance.
So if somebody launches a missile, it's your fault.
Yeah. I have a couple for sale over here in case.
Oh.
We got the motor, we'll get the project
We
rolling.
don't advertise that a lot. Along the fence there.
I'm pretty sure somebody here could think of a project last rocket motor. Come on, guys. Get on it.
We can do
James
it.
can fix us up a motor. Now, very careful on the stairs, all right? These are not your standard, I'm at my house, let's go downstairs stairs. They're somewhat steeper, shorter, just and they're all decorated and stuff accordingly. The triggers and the plutonium and other nuclear elements are removed. Okay, so those of you with childbearing age, you have nothing to worry about down here.
I want one.
Well, they had heaters and vibrators, and each missile has a missile control panel, all right? And this runs air-conditioned air up through this tube here, like this one, okay, up into the guidance section. And that keeps the guidance section dehumidified and dry, and at a constant temperature of about 54 degrees, okay? There's also a vibrating system that vibrates actually the whole launcher rail and stuff that keeps the solid fuel blocks kind of separated. This had square blocks packed in with the vibrating rods down there. So that kind of kept that all settled and stuff all the time. The shelf life of a Nike is over 10 years. They have Nikes that were 10 years old that were pulled out and launched and performed exactly like they were supposed to perform. So the boosters did not lose any of their thrust over a 10-year period. Now,
How much radiation we can catch just being?
none. Oh, they didn't tell us about that. The tritium has a half-life of 14 years. So the warheads can only be left in for 6 years. You've got to replace the deuterium and the tritium in the warhead to keep those forever. All right, here first. So what we're going to do is, if you watch your head back there, we're going to be moving this missile. I'll give everybody a chance. So what you have here is the same theory that railroads work on. Is once you overcome the rolling resistance of a large metal wheel on a level surface, that it's not too hard to pull it. So 5 tons. Here we go. Grab your ear. Pull it forward.
Wow.
So 2-man crew. You got 2 guys do 1 missile over to the elevator, upstairs, 2 guys push it down. The other 2 guys that are downstairs, 2 guys, always a two-man move. They're pulling the next missile over from this side, pulling it over to the elevator, while those guys are running down to the first launcher, and then they're pulling it here, and those two guys go up. Then you have your NCO, usually a staff sergeant, who's down here that has the Army keys and stuff with him. So at any one time, there's just two guys running around upstairs moving the missiles around. Right? Then you push it back. Well, what you do is the NCO, he had a strap with this box in front of him that had the different arming plugs with the flags on it. And you'd have different colored flags hanging out of these hatches, all right, for when they're safe or when they're armed. So you have red when they're armed and a green flag when they're safe. And then on the other side, you had the type of warhead. Now, when I was here, you didn't specifically arm the warheads anymore. So those were sealed up, and the flag was a permanent decal placed on the outside. You'll see these rounds down here have the flags on the outside, the colored stripe, designating the yield of that warhead, what it's set for. So we didn't change those in the pit. And you put in a mission plug, so that you'd have to do each time. Whether you want to tell it whether it's going to go surface to air, or surface to surface, or surface to subsurface. You had those three options out here. So surface to air. In Germany, they had a lot of surface to surface stuff. But here, we didn't have too many. We did have a set of plugs to do it, but we usually never brought them out.
The question was asked, what are these locations on each of the
Those are
missiles?
the antennas
Okay.
that receive and send the signal back and forth from the radar, that funny
On the other
round
one,
radar.
it has those little that extension.
Yeah, you'll see them over here. There's a red cap to
Yeah.
protect them.
Oh, they attach antennas on there?
No, that's the way it is. That is the antenna.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing that attaches to it. That's it. And you have to remember that when the missile is elevated upstairs and pointed up, that it's in direct line of sight with that radar, so it can lock right on it and follow it. And but they make good souvenirs, so people with screwdrivers sometimes. That's it. Give us seconds. Okay, next person. I'm just giving us a little more room.
So how many targets does the battery engage at once? Just a single target?
Yeah, you can only shoot at one target at a time, then the radar had to come back and pick up the next. Okay? Once you open the loading system.
That got That's so cool. You moved the missile. I know.
Watch me!
It doesn't feel like you're up there, we're just...
Bring him over here. Bring stop. Come on over here. See, I said there's always a way to get hurt. One of them is you put your fingers on the rail, so you're next. Grab hold of this. It weighs 5 tons. This is 2. Yeah, just slide that thing there. Oh, get your brother over here. You need a little help. Get your sister over here. No, that may be not your sister. Get this pretty girl. You too. Come on. She's a strong one. Yeah, she's a little thick.
So these are fixed.
Oh yeah, those are these are fixed. So you actually no field vehicles.
Around to get out because if we turn unpredictably.
Yeah, sure. Now you notice as you're coming back here, Then we pass through 3 blast doors.
Yep.
And then we're between you and those missiles out there, the total length that you just blocked, solid concrete with rebar and all kinds of stuff like that in it. Come ahead, Ian. It used to be that we had, this was all closed off with kind of the particle board stuff, but we found out it was all made about asbestos, so. That was when the park took over, they told us that, not when I was here in the military. So on the wall here, you see this is where the shorting plugs would be hung. These would be the ribbons that would tell you that those 4 missiles are armed. So you have the safe plugs go up there. These are the fabled keys. These are the nuclear launch keys. There's one for each missile. Why don't you guys hold them and take pictures of yourselves? The only chance.
It's not no for trip.
No, you're not impressed, huh? Get a picture of it with the 4 keys, with the panel in the background.
Oh, here we go, yeah, with the panel in the background.
With all the red lights going.
There we go.
Down.
I don't know. This is a little creepy.
Hey, I spent
Brian, why don't you
43
go-
hours
yeah.
in here.
There you go, Brian, get a picture of me.
Would you trust that man with the codes?
And this is a switch. And that's all the further you had to go. You'd run the missiles up like I was describing the drill. You take your 4 missiles.
Don't give them to me. Our responsibility would come with those keys.
You'll see that on here it doesn't designate what size warhead is on the missile. So the missile is built in the assembly building with the size yield you want to use in it. And then you practice your load pattern from the magazine up to the launchers, and you memorize which missile has to go to which launcher, so that when you designate, like say, launcher 2, you know that that's going to be a 20 kiloton yield warhead. There is no light that tells you what it is. The lights only tell you that the missile's ready to fire, and that's it. There is quite a procedure to go through. You have to get all green lights, and green lights over here for launch ready and that kind of stuff. This main switch right here, though, section ready, an NCO that's standing in this room, and only an NCO, has access to this switch once it's been turned on. Nobody else is supposed to touch this. If he feels that there's something really dire going on, like you have the gyros mixed up, or something, I don't know, whatever it could be, he could reach over and turn the section off, and that would disarm the round right away. I can't think of any reason why anybody would throw that switch, but that is another safety switch. Other than that, you have this switch here, the fire switch. If the battery control officer down in that first van, when you first came through the gate, there's a white van there, that's the battery control officer's van, and that's where he sits during battle stations. So when he flips his switch, you get a countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He flips his switch, you flip your switch. The radar is locked on to the missile, it's going to go. That's it, just those 3 elements. That's all you need. We don't wait for the President of the United States doesn't call us up and say, I authorize the release of nuclear weapon. Because they might not be able to find him in the 5 minutes we have alert to launch. And remember, we're not attacking anybody, it's a defensive system, so we really don't need that. But orders would come down. But when airplanes started coming towards the United States from any direction, they would send that information to the Air Defense Command in Cheyenne Mountain. The Air Defense Command post up on top of Mount Tamalpais, that's an Air Force operated unit. And they would get their signals. They pass a target package to the missile site. That's the only link of communication. When they pass the target package to the missile site, they assign you a specific airplane to shoot at or a specific grid to shoot into, and that's your target. And when the computer calculates that the launch distance is right to where the airplane's going to be in a minute, the missile takes off. The countdown starts and the fire command goes.
How many firing rails did you have for this battery?
Well, there's 8. There's 2 pits. So, and 4 missiles up at any one time. So 4 missiles up, 2 in the magazine for reloads. But I can tell you that once one missile leaves, that everything up there is burning. The paint's burning off the launchers, the oil from the elevators and the launcher itself is burning. The hills around you are burning. There's chunks of booster fuel laying all over the place, and that's all burning. So you just don't go running up and down the stairs. I mean, there wouldn't be any reason. I don't, since they were never used, there's never been an opportunity to reload.
That probably works even better on the poppies than the tricolor.
Probably. Yeah. 150,000 or 150,000 pounds of thrust pretty well clears out the little bowl that we're sitting in. And the missile, by the time the missile travels its own length, it's moving at the speed of sound. So this is like a space shuttle. This is like your rocket.
No, we're good. It's actually better with
Yeah, where are the claxons? I was expecting
You got
claxons.
video guy. What's your name?
I'm Jeff.
Jeff.
Sorry. No, actually, it's better with people in the shots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're all good.
Okay, we're all stuck now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Look how close the clearance is.
Holy
Let me show you my little friend.
Oh, very nice. Get right up on it.
Yes. Whoa.
It's not very friendly.
That's locked into place.
Well, we had a kid last year who wanted to hold his hands out and stop the elevator from coming.
Oh,
That would hurt.
They say. Oh yes. Yes.
oh yes!
Wow.
That is completely awesome. I want that rail, man.
Damn right.
I want that rail.
I think he just made a bunch of Rocketeers very, very happy.
Okay, well, we better.
Jesus.
Someone said we should do a group shot. Should we do it with the missile up?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got a good group shot. Do you want to do it on the side there, or you want?
Oh yeah, let's do it on this side where the sun's not.
Maybe you can be the trigger man. Or you want me to move it? No. Maybe you can be
Just take all
oh,
the
sure. So let me out of here.
It's the lock here.
Yeah. It's like for fellow armies. What do we do all that for?
Since the park, well, you know, the Missileers that used to run the place, we're all getting a little up there. Out of the original 14, there's only 3 of us left.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, the guys who started restoring this in 1984, there's only just 3 of us still left. So, and
You mean active or
Jacques Littlefield used to fund us on everything. That's
Yeah.
why we have all new rails and stuff.
Yeah, we
But,
went to his
since he passed
collection.
away, we've been a little short on some of that stuff.
We did a tour of his
Yes.
collection in Portola Valley. Of,
Was he driving one that day, or did you?
no, it was just about a month ago. It was Bruce that put that together.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
A
How'd
bunch of
that
the
go?
rugged guys. Yeah, oh, fantastic.
232 tank.
Yeah. Well, my favorite, of course, is the Scud missile.
Yeah,
You know.
he has 2 of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta have 2. Why would you only want one?
A Scud missile? One of them's not going to work.
I was with him at Fort Navy.
How do you get one? Yeah, how do you get 2?
He got it from Desert Storm 1. He had my son's tank there.
Oh, really?
My son captured a tank in Kosovo.
Oh, really?
And he emailed, my son went to Oxford with Jacques' son, and my son emailed him and said,
Okay,
my
everyone get
tank
in. We'll do a group shot.
captured a tank in
Give me your
Kosovo.
camera, Bruce.
I'll take, you guys,
Oh, we'll get, where's our guy?
oh, our guide?
Yeah, he was gonna take a picture of me.
Oh, here.
Hey, I could stand on that. So I have a picture of my guy. We'll get you to come over here and. But Jacques used to buy anything the kids wanted. Let's drag it in until we get the whole missile in. You guys scoot. Hey, which one of you guys has one bigger than mine?
No, you win.
This side come in. This side come in.
It's gonna go on the lunar website.
I need this for
Do
sports.
you want mine or get the wide
Okay,
angle
I'll send you the article.
Okay, come on, the guys on this side, move in. Because I want the missile, the whole missile. Turn sideways.
I'm getting it right here.
Where's the button? Oh, the button's up here. Okay.
I think right here is good.
What do we say? Hey.
You can turn it a wider angle too.
Powerful than AP. You think I haven't been in this British Island? Yeah. All right.
All right, then I'm gonna take one more and then
Should get you guys in.
Yeah.
you can.
Why is our guide not in the shot?
Exactly.
I was going to ask that question too.
Yeah, we need the tour guide.
Oh, I guess we need the tour guide. Yeah, we need the tour guide in here too.
Pictures of me.
Yeah, but we don't.
I'll run out and get one. Photo hit.
Come on, Alan.
I think everybody who has a camera
You guys hand me these
shot of him while
cameras,
he's
but
still
nobody
taking a
says
shot of
this
us.
is.
There you go.
Everyone knows that.
You figure with all that training, you surely know how to work a camera.
Yeah, but too few buttons. The ones for
Who has the new camera?
Never got to actually push the button before, so that last part he's not as fresh.
It doesn't have a big toggle.
It's just the big button.
True.
He's just taking a picture of the tip of the rocket, yeah.
Take two. No, I got it set for wide. Take two. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Nope, you got multiple.
The one that, all right, come on, get in the picture, please.
Get in there too. Yep.
Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more, it's for safety. 1, 2, 3. All right.
We all know our next
Okay. Wait, I need you guys, movies, but okay. And then you have to stand over here with me. Because where he's standing, you gotta get hit in the head. Okay?
What are we? Ready? 3, 2, 1.
the wrong button.
Operator errors.
Yes.
It's not going to come down, man. It's going to launch it.
Book it out of here. Book it, launch
Can you get some a little faster in LCO here?
Ow.
Before firing. I heard the clip off.
I went down the first time. It made a lot of noise.
Yeah. That was the limit switch. Is it over the limit? Do we need to go charge?
I wanted to push it.
No, I wanted it to come down and hit me in the head.
Yikes.
Wait, where's Tony?
Our group, we were heading, where were we heading? Oh yeah, over to the air traffic control place. and they all wanted to stop real quick and get some lunch, and so they're like, let's go to Mickey D's. I'm like, no. The most I'll do is Jack in the Box, and I haven't had fast food in like, what, 15 years, so that was like, yeah, it's still a fast food burger. I mean, you know, I cook real food. When I go get a hamburger, I go to the diner. You know, I get real.
Missile's up, it's ready to be fired. The plane crosses that trip point, then the 90 seconds start. The radars and everything are focused right on that plane. Nothing's moving around, there's a radar locked on it. And he's still coming in. When he trips the second trip point, the computer sends out the fire signal. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And sometimes it's slow and sometimes it's quick, but it doesn't make any difference. When the guy hits one, the battery control officer hands up figure down his phone.
Oh, right on. That's what the.
And so the missile takes off, and 15 seconds later, it's going to blow up.
Is there any warm-up time? I see these things have APUs and everything.
It sits here all the time with a heater running it. That's that shaft. It pumps in 54 degree temperature air that's dry. It's the guy.
Hey Brian, can you maybe
And it also has a vibrator in there, and that's supposed to keep all the electric.
Yep.
Hit the unlock button twice. Actually,
And then lock it again when you're
rolled up
done.
there and sat on top of it, you should feel the kind of a vibration that it would have. But that was just to keep the contacts and everything moving so that they would.
But you would have warmed up all the tubes and started up the APU.
Missile guidance motor.
Now, the APU, it looked like there's an exhaust coming. It looked like there's a hydraulic.
There's a hydraulic for steering,
Last
yes.
forward, no, dang it.
Now the Ajax run on compressed air, and this one runs on hydraulic.
So where does the hydraulic come?
That starts up with
Some good ones. I'm going to do the group picture.
it's all part of the
And then
seat
I
monitor
like-
thing. You can monitor that those are going here. And here's the vibrator, here's the gyro. But the missile hydraulic, you turn on separately. For the last year and a half, you've been trained. You get up every morning. You're the last line of defense. You're it.
Nobody gets past you.
If anything gets past you, your family's toast. You got that?
Yeah.
All right. So, well, they have all these up and down the East Coast too.
That's true.
So, you've already done all the processes to elevate the missile. All these switches would be up. You're watching this. This is DEFCON 1, DEFCON 2. This is defensive conditions, just like we have now. Then we're DEFCON 3 and DEFCON 4. So you're at war. War has already been declared. You're ready to go. All right? Now, your decision is... Okay? You're the only one that makes this decision, because I can guarantee the other guys in the group are going to make the decision. They are not going to hesitate. Okay? All right? So you have 11 seconds. The plane has passed the intercept, the 96-second point. They're asking you to designate the targets. You don't know exactly how many airplanes are there. They're feeding you in the gyro settings at 3840, so I didn't teach you how to do that yet, but that's done over here. So you know that you're going to be firing this missile somewhere over Sacramento. That's where your burst is going to be at about 20,000 feet. All right? The computer is coming through, but this knowledge you've already known. This is part of the stuff you're trained in for. You have a high explosive. That means you have to get within a football field. You have a 2 kiloton yield. That means you have to get within a quarter of a mile. You've got a 20 kiloton yield, just in case there's more than the one airplane that the radar operator sees. Remember, these guys, just like on Tom Cruise, they can jam your radar, they can fly planes in line, they can do whatever they want, but when you went to school, they told you these guys were going to send at least 100 planes. Okay? And this one is a 60. You got those? High explosive, 2 kiloton, 20 kiloton, that's a Nagasaki, Hiroshima-sized bomb. 20,000 feet over Sacramento. This one is the 60. 3 times the size of the Nagasaki or Hiroshima bomb. All right? You select the missile, you have 11 seconds.
I'm going to do anything?
You do it.
Okay.
Oh, you got to go the other way, too. Which one you want? I'll be darned. Now, your turn. She did it in 10.9. Okay? Go ahead. 11 seconds. You going to take the same one? So you're both going to choose the 20. Okay? There is no wrong answer. That's very strange that a
Jerry
woman...
Brown's in Sacramento. Go for the 4.
It's Sacramento. 2 birds, 1 stone.
So he copied, and that's about 10 seconds, so you're both right in there. Usually when we do a guy and a girl that are approximately the same age, and we do the girls test with all the girls, so they're kibitzing, and the guy test with all the guys, like we did with those school students from Montessori that were here. The girl that did it this morning went way past 40 seconds. She just couldn't get off the none. She wasn't really sure. She was asking a lot of questions, you know, how big is this one? How many people will die if I do this? The guy that volunteered to do it, wham, he went, go big or go home.
How many people I saved by doing the 4?
Actually, it's none. What I've learned subsequently is that any blast that takes place in the upper atmosphere has no physical effect on the ground, right directly below the blast. It does have the electromagnetic pulse. Should there be any radiation, it's not going to be enough to affect anybody. It's going to be like, you know, you might get somebody's image on the wall or something like that. No.
Because it's not picking up the ground debris.
Right.
And
it's not irradiating.
That's where the biggest problem is.
So what you get is the thing that stops the airplane. So I have this gift for you, this patch designed by my oldest son. There you go.
Oh,
This is the unit patch for out here. Our motto is?
On what's line of defense?
Our motto is?
If it flies, it dies.
There you go. If it bleeds, we can kill it. If it flies, it dies.
There you go.
All right?
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Very good.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions or anything at all?
Can I buy a patch?
Anything you don't know about thermonuclear war that you think you ought to know?
Thank you, sir.
They do have those in the gift shop.
And thank,
That's what I was gonna say.
thank
We're gonna
Mr.
buy the
Blank.
patch.
I
No,
sure
that's
appreciate everybody's
I gave you the big letdown. I let you run the switch and then it wouldn't click.
killed it. I
That's
really
all right.
appreciate it.
If Tony was here, he'd be giving me a hard time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, broke it.
Tony's our LCR, launch control guy.
Oh, that,
I think that should be the...
That would have been that button?
that has never been there when I was.
I think we should give Tony a 10-second limit.
It's once you start the countdown sequence, it goes, or there's 2 guys with switches somewhere
Yeah.
downstairs.
One guy in this van over here, one guy downstairs.
Yeah, and they're flipping that guy.
We'll be here for a while.
That gives me goosebumps,
Now,
man.
that's a real launch and strike from Fort Bliss, Texas. The music and the thump 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 heartbeat thing, those they put in there. But that's all the time there is from launch to detonation. And those times where they do the countdown come off of this window right here in this mechanical computer.
The one that we can't touch.
Oh no, you can touch it.
Please do not touch.
Yeah. But
Yeah, but this is a fabulous piece of machinery right
yes,
here.